Using different names, they create the impression of a broader movement. They hope to confuse the police and so forth.
Gaynor Ford is still confusing the authorities. Last spring, she was acquitted of possessing an explosive device. We will be giving Hampshire Police our evidence. Graham Hall had managed to infiltrate one cell of the ALF and expose many of its secrets, but he was still not at the heart of the movement. And during his investigation, news came that 2 key ALF members had been caught by the police in possession of a sawn-off shotgun. To investigate this startling development, Graham Hall would have to infiltrate the highest ranks of the Animal Liberation Front. Graham Hall's undercover journey now faced its toughest challenge. He'd already penetrated a cell of the Animal Liberation Front and learnt its bomb-making secrets. Now he planned to infiltrate the deepest reaches of the ALF. Unlike other secretive groups, it has no formal structure, no official leaders, no one apparently in control. But it does have a public and very respectable face. A former council member of the RSPCA named Robin Webb. Last week, Robin Webb was much in demand as the ALF's official press officer. On Newsnight, he even debated with the Home Office Minister.
If Barry Horne dies, I hope there's not another act of terrorism against all the innocent creatures, human and non-human, in this world. It is not blackmail, it is merely asking the government to honour a pre-election pledge.
Robin Webb's official role is press officer to the ALF, but rumours suggested he carried much greater power. It was Graham's task to get close to Robin Webb. His chance came at Bristol Crown Court, where an ALF bomber was on trial. Graham had already let it be known he wanted to contact Webb. He finally met him face to face outside the court.
Yeah, Robin. This is a friend of mine, Graham.
I tried to phone you a couple.
Graham's reputation as an animal rights campaigner had won an introduction to the man at the very heart of the ALF.
The overt picture of Robin Webb is a moderate animal rights activist who over the years changed his mind and began to see that the ALF had the true path in animal rights, if you like, and went to work for them in a support role, if you like, as press officer, not personally involved with anything illegal, but just helping to publicise it.
The police have tried several times to nail Robin Webb as a big player in the ALF's terror campaign, but he's always eluded them. He revels in his clean image.
I don't know if you saw the Big Issue article recently. You know that?
Cheers, mate.
I like the caption,
The man they put in jail.
The description of me is quite sweet. Looks more like everyone's favourite grandpa than the man the police believe is guilty of heinous deeds.
Robin Webb has certainly been a police target. Last year, the reassuring face of animal liberation stood in the dock at Lewes Crown Court. The charge, possession of a firearm. He and another activist had been caught with a surprising parcel in the boot of their car, a sawn-off shotgun. Both said they believed the parcel contained bolt cutters to be used to raid a farm breeding laboratory animals. They said finding the gun was a complete surprise and claimed it had been planted by a police informant. The case collapsed because the police refused to identify the person who'd tipped them off. On this point of legal procedure, Webb and his fellow defendant walked free. Robin Webb's co-accused was Dave Hammond, a former British Army soldier and known ALF activist. Shortly after the trial collapsed, dispatches heard through our contacts in the animal rights movement that Dave Hammond had fallen out with the ALF and might be willing to talk. In 22 years, no ALF activist has ever broken ranks and spoken openly about its tactics and strategies. Now, it seemed, Dave Hammond might be the first person willing to reveal the ALF's true commitment to violence. Dispatchers approached Dave Hammond near Brighton, where he worked as a groundsman. After the shotgun trial, he wanted to change his life.
Hi, Daddy. Yeah, I wonder if you could advise me on how to get rid of these tattoos on the side of my head. Get rid of part of my past.
Let's have a look.
After years as a militant, Dave Hammond says he now wants to remove all reminders of his links to the Animal Liberation Front.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it's fortunate it's below your hairline, so...
So you can do it then? Dan?
Yeah, that's possible,
brilliant.
yeah.
He said he was so keen to sever his links that he wanted to give dispatchers an interview, decrying his former comrades and calling for an end to violence.
I'm opposed to any sort of violence unless it's in self-defence. All violence does, violence against violence, merely doubles the violence. It achieves nothing.
And how are you hoping to put that philosophy across?
By forming a new organisation called New Vegan Liberation. New because it wants to distance itself from the minority of individuals within the animal liberation movement who deem it necessary to take the lives of human beings in the pursuance of animal liberation.
Dave Hammond claims his views have earned him a hoax bomb from an ALF splinter group and the threat of a real one to follow. His most shocking claim is that some animal rights extremists have plans to assassinate their enemies.
By assassinating someone, they believe it would take forward the animal liberation philosophy.
In what way?
Well, they believe that it would deter others from doing what they're doing. You know, I mean, to actually, for someone to be killed would obviously make others who are doing a similar thing to stop what they're doing.
Dave Hammond's claim that some extremists would kill for the cause is supported by others.
They are very close to killing someone. Keith Mann, who was sentenced to 11 years for his extremist violence, said in a message to ALF activists that sooner or later someone would die. He didn't express any remorse about this or any regret. Now that does show to me a level of fanaticism which is very dangerous indeed.
This man knows how dangerous. Professor Colin Blakemore is one of Britain's leading experts on the brain. His research work in the 80s brought him to the attention of the ALF.
I was working on cats. In fact, I was working on kittens, so it was very easy to create the image of helpless, defenseless animals. I was working on vision, and people are very sensitive about their eyes. And some of the experiments that I did actually involved depriving animals of vision by closing one eye. So it was a ready-made, gruesome scenario. A mad scientist stitches up the eyelids of helpless kittens. No mention of anaesthetic, no mention of the objective of the research or its quality. In fact, those were dismissed.
Professor Blakemore's been physically attacked, sent razor blades and death threats. Those threats were taken seriously.
The police warned me that they thought that a group within extremist animal rights had weapons and were considering when they should use them.
To do what?
Well, I think that the police were concerned about the possibility of doorstep killings.
But do you actually think that you are a potential target for them to kill?
I suspect that I'm on their lists.
It's a suspicion, no longer. Colin Blakemore discovered his name is on the latest murder list sent out through the ALF. Defector Dave Hammond now promotes himself as the non-violent face of animal rights. But he's coy about how far he himself has gone in the past. What Dave Hammond didn't know was that our undercover reporter Graham Hall had been secretly filming him from the day he walked free from his shotgun charge at Lewes Crown Court. Graham wanted to get close to Hammond because he'd heard there was more to his violence.